Calaboya, see, Japan.
No, you tell them, send you better hurry. A jala to say they swear you with a hoping business. When you pin a hug, you will die. In fact, I prophesy that you will pin the hug the very year, and that's the same quality pin and you will use. People, whenever you want to pin your house, so make it low jala new money so it can't fail. Use a ZZ quality pin. ZZ quality pin can in all colors, even more than some rainbow. You can get ZZ quality pin as a pin the rail and main road, Police Academy Junction. The open from Monday to Saturday, from 8 in the morning to 5 in the evening. Or you can call 0770-496-273 and 0770-496-274. Don't say I tell you, when you think ZZ, think quality.
As Hamley Enterprises Limited, located at the Police Academy Junction, is a shipping agency ready to handle your goods from China to Liberia. We handle all from our warehouses in China. No need to stress yourself. We take care of your goods, and you can pick them up from our offices at the Police Academy Junction. We also sell solar products and can order solar grade of all sizes for you, and installations are guaranteed by our technicians. We also do professional t-shirt printing for all occasions. Contact us on telephone number 0880-340-117 or 0775-374-480 or our WhatsApp number 678-386-2499. It's Hamley Enterprises Limited, your shipping agency, ready to serve you.
Lopus Kitchen, a Liberian-owned business operated by Johnson and Wales University's trained chef Joyce Matowia, is your dining away from home. At Lopus Kitchen, we prepare all kinds of Liberian cuisines, including fried and rare oil potatoes green, kidney beans, palava sauce, fever leaves, and a lot more. We also make rice bread, meat pies, cookies, Benesi candies, and all kinds of pastry products. Place in your order online today from anywhere in the US at www.lorpukatchen.com. The good news is your package is sealed in an insulated cooling box and reaches your destination well preserved and fresh. Save yourself the stress and order the best from a professional chef. Lopus Kitchen keeps your fingers licking.
We all know the headache we go through sending money to our loved ones, friends, and family in Liberia. High fees, long lines in banks, the usual complaint of the system being down, such a waste of time and energy. That is why I was very happy when I learned that SendWave is now in Liberia. So now I can send money anytime from anywhere directly from my smartphone to the MTN Lone Star Cell mobile money account of a loved one, friend, or family within seconds for just a tiny fee. So download SendWave now to your phone from your Apple Store or Google Play Store. Add your details, and don't worry, they are very safe and secure. And start sending money today. Don't forget to insert the promo code COSTA to get free $5 credit added to your first transfer. SendWave is secure, super fast, and by far the most affordable way to send money to Liberia. I'm Henry P. Costa and a very happy customer. Thank you.
On two video streaming platforms, Facebook and YouTube, and you're listening to us on several audio streaming platforms. Our website, www.roots1027fm.com. and my tuner, which is a radio streaming app, and tuning as well, another radio streaming app. Good morning and welcome. What's up, Waka?
Yeah, good morning, Costa, and good morning to our many listeners in Liberia and the diaspora. It's good to be here. Yeah, I can just say a day in between to 2022.
Yeah, 2022 is already here. We thank God for the ride, howbeit a turbulent one in 2021. But we pray that we can see the end of 2021, and now we're about to enter 2022. We're grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the time we end at 2022, we're going to be saying, oh, elections there next year, elections. 2023 is just there. It's very close. I cannot believe we're already here, Baka.
Yeah.
Yeah, how time flies. Time waits for no man. Time waits for no man. Oh, it is already here.
We were just in 2017. Now we are 2022.
We just had elections. And 2018, Georgia was just inaugurated.
Yeah.
So everybody was, talking about, he was a new kid on the block. Now he's about to be retired by the Liberian people. So it's interesting, very, very much so. Okay, now, yesterday, I went to Philadelphia to cut my hair, which is a 1-hour drive from me with traffic and all, another hour drive back. By the time I got out of the barber shop, it's a Liberian-owned barber shop. Shout out to Marty Mad and Samuel Ujo, great barbers, amazing barbers. By the time I got out of the barber shop, this gentleman pulled up. I said, hey, Costa, let me talk to you. I said, okay. He pulled up and he parked the car around the road and got out of the car and came to me. He said, Mr. Costa, I've been trying to get in touch with you or trying to get your number and it's difficult to reach you. He introduced himself to me as, listen to the story, Baga, it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm listening.
He introduced himself. He said his name is Pastor Nathaniel Koah. The last name is spelled Koah. Nathaniel Koah. He said, Mr. Costa, when I heard you interview Chucky Taylor, I wanted to speak with you. I wanted to tell you something. I said, good. Now you're here. He said, I want your number. I gave him my phone number. He said, Mr. Costa, I am the one who made Chucky Taylor to be in jail. I said, He said, yeah. I said, how so? He said, you know how I came to the country? I said, no. He said, the U.S. government sent people for me, white people. He said, they went to Liberia and they brought me to America. The Americans, 4 of them, They went for me to Liberia and brought me to America. I believe he said it was in 2009 or something like that. Listen to the story.
Mm-hmm.
They brought me to America, and they said they wanted me to file a case against Chucky Taylor. File a civil lawsuit against Chucky Taylor. I said, He said, Google me. Just Google me. You will see my name. He said, I filed a lawsuit against Chucky Taylor, a civil lawsuit in Miami, Florida. So the people went to Liberia and brought me to America. And I filed a lawsuit against Chucky. And I won the case. The court in Florida awarded me more than $100 million in damages that Chucky Taylor was ordered to pay me. I said, but I didn't know about that case. And to be honest, Waka, I didn't know about that case. I only knew about the criminal case. Chucky was criminally prosecuted. He said, my man, I filed a case, I won the case. So Chucky has not paid me $1. I said, but the man, bro, why did man get $100 million from to pay you? I said, but why you? He said, Mr. Costa, I used to do diamond business. One day, Chucky them arrested me and they took me to their base, Batala. They charged me with supporting rebels and financing rebels to remove the government. They said I had found a very big diamond, and I was using this diamond money, or this diamond I had found, the money from it, to procure weapons to support rebels to come and overthrow his father's government. So they took me to Batala base, the notorious ATU base, Batala in Bon County. They held me there for a very long period of time. He told me how long, I just don't forget. I think he said weeks or months. They tortured me. They did all kinds of horrible things to me. They made me eat my own refuse. Folks, if you know book, you know what I mean by refuse. I will not call it other name, but I dare you to call it. Human refuse. Let me make it simple for you. If you know book, you know what human refuse is. That's the euphemistic way, the decent way to call it. They made me eat my own. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They did all kinds of things to me, horrible things, Mr. Costa. So the American people heard about this and they went for me to Liberia and brought me to America. And they can't sue the bugger. He said, Mr. Costa, that me, oh. He said, I man owe me 100 million. I started laughing. I said, my man, you're not serious, man. Why Chucky getting money for the pay you 100 million? Well, my man, boy, that's serious. I said, man, stop the car in the middle of the road. You know, when I go to places here in America where lots of Liberians are, you know, they're driving by, they will be waving. Mr. Costa, hello. They'll stop by, they will take a picture. But then, man, park a car in the middle of the road and got out and came to me and started talking and gave me a phone number. So I said, but I didn't know that one. I know plenty of, I know that one. So the man's name is Nathaniel Koa. The man said they lied on him that he had found a very big diamond and that he was using the diamond money to finance rebels to overthrow Charles Taylor, and that's what Chucky then did to him. Kept him at Batala base and tortured him, but he survived. So Bwaga, I told him, I said, look, but we need to tell your story. You need to come on the show. We interviewed Chucky. It is only fair that we interview you so that you can tell your story. He said, yeah, that's what I want. I said, fine. So we're going to bring Pastor Nathaniel Koa on the show. We're going to set it up with him, and we're going to tell you when we're going to bring him on. He has a very, very, very interesting story to share. I'm telling you, a horrific, harrowing experience at Batala Base. And how the Americans went for him to Liberia, 4 white men. The way he said it, a pretty sheepish way. He said, 4 white men came for me. They carried me. He said, I came here on asylum, special arrangement. They brought me here. Chucky owed me 100 million. I said, no, the man Brooks said, yeah, the man looking for money to say, he said, I heard the man. So we're going to bring Pastor Nathaniel Koa. Now, how many of you want to hear Pastor Nathaniel Koa? I want to hear him. I mean, although he's already given me the shorter version of the story, but I still want to hear the full story. And I know Black Eye makes the two of us.
Yeah.
We want to hear him. So we're going to bring Pastor Nathaniel Koa on to explain his story. How he sued Chucky Taylor. The U.S. government brought him here. He filed a civil lawsuit against Chucky, won the case in the Florida court. And so we're waiting. I'm telling you, this is going to be an interesting one for a guy.
I can't wait to hear from him.
Oh, I can't wait to hear from him, my brother. I can't wait to hear from him. I see a lot of people already say they want to hear him. You know, they want to hear him. Man, begin Ephraim Wallace, the memo forget about the 100 million.
100 million.
Mama, Lee, American people, they wanted $100 million, boy. Chucky get $100, correct? Before you will pay $100 million to somebody. What? Jesus Christ of Nazareth. So we're gonna bring Pastor Nathaniel Koa on, you know, and to hear from him, and to hear what effort he's making to collect his $100 million from Chucky. Yeah. But that is an interesting story. I didn't know about this. I only learned of it yesterday. We're going to bring him on. Now, folks, a few days ago, I read this story that this boy, Vani Jassy, he used to be president of LINSU, the Liberian Student Union, National Student Union, or something like that. LINSU. You know LINSU, right, Waka?
I know Vani.
It's a group that does nothing. They just have collect money in the budget and they eat it. They don't really do anything for Liberian students, but just one of those stupid groups.
Liberian National Student Union.
Yeah, one of those stupid organizations like FLA. They don't do anything. The Federation of Liberian Youth. So listen, Vani Jassy was arrested for rape a couple of years ago. You all remember?
Yeah, on Mama Point.
Thank you. And interestingly, I know the father of the little girl, Vani Jassy, allegedly raped. Vani Jassy had sent the little girl to buy him. He used to send the little girl, you know, they are neighbors. Buy him bread, buy him salt drink, buy him this, buy him that. One day, the little girl went to buy him bread or whatever. She came back with the bread. He called her into his room and he took advantage of her. He raped her. And she told her father. And Vani Jassy ran. When he learned that the father had gone to complain him, he ran away. He ran into hiding, Boakai. He was in hiding for a couple of days until he eventually turned himself in and he went to jail. He was in jail on remand while his case was being prosecuted. When the CDC government came to power, yeah, the father of the little girl he raped, allegedly raped. And I believe Vani Jassy did rape this little girl. She had no business lying on him, Boakai. Everybody in the community knew Vanny Johnson used to send a little girl, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You know how you live in a community, you know, you got your neighbor children, you always sending them, they know you, Paka, Uncle Paka, or Brother Paka, you know, something like that. So, yeah, the father is a police officer. His name is Nukon. The father is Nukon. So, Vanny Johnson went to jail. And then when the CDC government came to power, you know, Vanny Johnson and Jefferson Koji, they're very close, and they share something else in common. They're equally dull. They speak just as badly. When you hear Vanny Johnson speaking here, the way the buck and chop, you pull wood here, you will split all the damn wood where it words. He's a dull picking, very dull picking, Vanny Johnson. And he's a big crook. When he was at Linsu, he all the Linsu money. You remember Baga?
Absolutely.
Every day there was noise at Linsu. Vanny Johnson stealing the Linsu money, passing around, going from one bar to another bar, drinking liquor excessively. He's a bad little boy. I can't stand him, especially after he ripped that little girl. Oh my God. Johnson went to jail. But guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Then this damn government came to power.
A happy presidential administration before
That's when he went to jail. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In the wee years, just about what? The end of the Saliva administration, I believe 2017 or 2016.
Yeah.
That's when Vanny Johnson went to jail for ripping this little girl. Then this government came to power and his friend Jefferson Koji arranged for him to get out. You remember how he got out, Waka? Do you recall?
No.
Okay, I will tell you.
We just
medical grounds. They cook up one story and said Vanny Johnson was seriously ill and he needed to go seek medical attention. And so he needed serious medical attention. Therefore, they were taking him out of jail. So they took Vanny Johnson out of jail, supposedly to receive medical attention. Guess what? Vanny Johnson wasn't no damn sick. He wasn't sick at all. The damn rippers and rogue didn't need to go to jail. Yes, that's true. Arthur Johnson was his lawyer. They hired Arthur Johnson to represent him. And Vanny Johnson came out initially, he used to pass around, he's sick. Mm-hmm. You remember what got down? Does it click?
Yeah.
They said Vanny Johnson was sick. He needed medical attention. He was not sick. He was not sick. Then who hired Vanny Johnson when he came out of jail? Where was he working, Waka? Tell me.
He went to the MCC.
Thank you. Monroe City Corporation gave Vanny Johnson a job.
Yeah.
Thank
And he was close to the Mayor Jefferson Koji.
The men are talking out of jail. Everywhere Koji went, his doll friend Vanny Johnson went with him.
Yeah.
Koji got Vanny Johnson out of jail. The rape case is still hanging. Vanny Johnson came out of jail to go receive treatment, to go back in prison, to complete the case. Yeah, Vanny Johnson here now. He go participate in election for president of the African Student Union. And they say he won it.
Yeah, he won.
But listen. But how could they even allow Vanny Johnson to participate in an election for president of the All African Student Union in Ghana? They just had an election. And they said Vanny Johnson was elected president of the All. I mean, look at the kind of man we sent to represent us. This man has a rape case hanging over his head. This boy is a thief. Then the boy is dull. Oh, Vanny Johnson dull. Could somebody please send me a recording of Vanny Johnson speaking somewhere? Please, I beg you. Send me the recording. Those of you who haven't heard the little idiot speak, I want you to hear him speak. This boy is dull as Koji. If I were to pick between Vanny Johnson and Koji,
you pick Koji?
Who's the duller of the both? There was an article I read some time back. It was entitled The Dimmer Dim Bulb. the dimmer dim Bob. They were comparing George Bush and and Al Gore when the both of them were at Harvard. They went to school at the same time. Bush had graduated from Yale. Of course, that's where their family goes traditionally. But he went to Harvard in 1976 or 74, I believe. He obtained his MBA from Harvard Business School. So the two of them were there at the same time. They were contemporaries. And the two of them used to get chapa, get drunk, and smoke a lot of marijuana. So somebody wrote this article, who is a dimmer dim Bob? The two of them are dim Bobs. But who dimmer than their friend? And it said George Bush is a dimmer of the So between Koji and Vanny Jassy is actually duller than Koji. So if Vanny Jassy can be duller than Koji, then you will know what I'm talking about. That at the beginning is dull. That they gotta begin to say president of all African Student Union. But listen, folks, somebody need to send me this. Somebody send me a video, man, of Vanny Jassy speaking. But what guy? Look at all the nonsense that you are in the business of fighting people who are successful. You stupid. Vanny Jassy is somebody who's successful, a damn rapist. But the thing is this boy raped somebody's daughter, somebody's child. He went to jail. Koji arranged to have him released on compassionate medical grounds to receive medical treatment. Yeah, the boy passing around all over the place working for Jefferson Koji. When he came out, what he started doing? Vanny Jassy was the one part of that group. You remember the group that they formed? Do you recall?
Nope.
They formed one group called Friends of Koji. Yes. See a doll said, damn rapists, damn thief. But it's just sad. You think somebody will be celebrating that Vanny Jassy, a young Liberian, he was elected president, all African Student Union, so I'm going to be celebrating when you're saying one dull rapist, to be president or something, we all must celebrate it. No, I'm sorry, I'm not part of that nonsense. Oh, you know, you must be happy for him. What about the father whose daughter was raped, and no hair, no tail, not come out of the case? They released Vanny Jassy while the matter is still in court. They said Vanny Jassy was sick, he was dying. I said, Waka, that one, you remember Waka?
Yeah.
They said Vanny Jassy was why? He was dying.
Yeah, when he came out, he pretended that it was actually true, going from one hospital to another.
So lie. So then was when we saw him working for MCC, we said, oh, but that segment, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a guy called Abdul Basit al-Magrahi. Abdul Basit al-Magrahi. It's a distant cousin of the late Muammar Gaddafi. Abdul Basit al-Magrahi was believed to be one of the masterminds of the 1988 Lockerbie bombing of that American airliner. I believe it was a Pan Am flight, and it was shot down over a place called Lockerbie in Scotland. And it was believed to be Gaddafi's cousin, Abdul Basit al-Magrahi, who led that operation to shoot down that plane, and 280 people on board were killed, the majority of them being American citizens. Abdul Basit al-Magrahi. And when Tony Blair was prime minister, they struck some deal with Muammar Gaddafi because they wanted to have access to, Libyan oil. And in exchange, Gaddafi requested that the British return, because Basit was in his prison cell serving time for his role in that infamous shooting down of that plane, the Pan Am flight, I think flight 2 something, whatever, over Lockerbie in Scotland. And so he was serving time in Scotland. That's where he was prosecuted. And so they said that they wanted him returned to the country. in exchange, this was something Gaddafi had requested from Tony Blair, because they were getting this oil deal. So they agreed, and they had Tony Blair intervene, because in the United Kingdom they have a system called the devolution system. What does that mean? The devolution of power system. Great Britain handles, the UK government handles, the government in England handles foreign policy and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of justice and those things, they are handled by those, Scotland handles her own justice system or jurisdiction. They have that jurisdictional authority. But when it comes to prosecuting foreign policy, it is done by the government in London. So they intervened and asked the Scots to release Abdul Basit al-Megrahi, the cousin of Muammar Gaddafi. And of course, some money was paid. Well, listen to the story.
Mm-hmm.
They said Abdul Basit al-Megrahi had only 6 more months to live, and they were releasing him on compassionate grounds, so that this frail, sick, cancer-ridden old man would go and die at peace with his family. Spend the last 6 months of his life, the twilight of his life. They made that story sound so fine. My man, I said, hey, boy, but I was a young boy then following the story on the BBC, and I knew something was up. It had to do with the oil deal. Tony Blair had just gone to Libya. He had met with Muammar Gaddafi. And so they released Abdul Basit al-Megrahi to go home to Libya to spend the last 6 months with his family to die. According to them, a Scottish doctor had deemed the man terminally ill, and he was going to die in just 6 months. Okay? Abdul Basit al-Megrahi was released, put on a plane, shipped off to Libya, received by his family folks, including Muammar Gaddafi. That bugger who they said would only live for 6 more months, that bugger lived for several years, you know. So the story of Vani Jasseh reminds me of Abdul Basit al-Megrahi, the cousin of the late Muammar Gaddafi. Exactly. So this boy, Vani Jasseh, Vani Jasseh was not sick. It was a bloody lie. All they wanted was to free this boy. Then they can talk about he won the election as president of the African Student Union. I'm told Koji financed the whole process.
Wow.
Yes. They went to Ghana. Koji gave me a lot of money. And they say he bought his way around. In fact, the guy who ran, the Nigerian guy, has filed a protest. I have his complaint, his letter, his protest letter. I have it here, Baka. I will send it to you. First of all, the guy is saying that Liberia does not qualify. Linsu does not qualify to participate because Linsu has been delinquent on their dues. We don't pay dues.
Oh.
And one of the requirements is that, one of the prerequisites is that you must be compliant or current with due payment. You pay no damn due, then you won't participate in the election. But they say that's what he did. He managed to get through and he got elected. So there's some this boy is a rapist. It is a disgrace. Do you know how many smart young men and women we have in Africa or in Liberia in good standing who are not rapists and thieves that we could have sent to participate to represent us? And of all the people we could have sent, we send this bad little boy who was a damn rapist and a thief and dull as hell. We're in the business now of, to borrow your phrase, my dear brother Bill Cosby, he says, exporting criminals. We're exporting criminals to other countries now to participate in, Baka, this is a shame. How can I be proud to celebrate that kind of man, Baka?
I'm telling you.
The man say got rape case hanging over him. Then your mango to release him and say he down there. What kind of nonsense is this? Then some of them will be celebrating it. Vani Jase is a thief and he is a rapist. It is a disgrace that Koji would take our country's money and use it to finance this boy to go and participate in an election. And unfortunately, the people didn't know his record. Kupaka, you want to say they couldn't do any research on him, man?
That's the problem, Costa. Before somebody contesting for a position like that, there should be a thorough
vetting process.
Mm-hmm.
Find out his background. I see my picking Darlington Collins here. That his old comrade. Comrade Collins, you want to say something? Funny, just and your old comrade. Funny Johnson is a bad little boy. He raped the people's daughter. He went to jail. Jesus Christ. Man, this is so sad. How can you have a rapist? Okay, let's say he's not a rapist, but an accused rapist who was in jail pending the conclusion of his trial. Then he go become president of all African Student Union. Then I see people posting, the publishing, and they are not saying that he was still. This man is being tried for rape. They say he was sick. But you know the beauty? When we come to power, I will make sure Vani Johnson will go back to continue his case for rape. Rape does not have a statute of limitation. There is no statute of limitation when it comes to rape, right? So we'll make sure Vani Johnson will go back to jail because he's well. Whatever treatment he took, he's certainly well. Is he not well now, right?
Yeah.
He's well. So Vani Johnson will go back to jail and will ensure that Vani Johnson will continue his prosecution for raping the people's daughter. Nonsense. What kind of nonsense is this? God talk about Vani Johnson and a president or Africans on this. What kind of trouble was this? We take a rapist and saying abroad, a doll want to. Vani Johnson is very well. He's able to go participate in the election. So we're going to send him back to prison. He will be there while we complete the case. All right. Now, we're going to open the phone lines, boy. Let's open the phone lines and talk to our people. A number of issues, a number of things going on in the country. Tell me, what's the latest? Is our man up to?
Well, nothing much major for the new year yet from the president.
Folks, I have a bombshell on Bill Twaway. We will be dropping that bombshell very soon. I might do it tomorrow, the eve of New Year. Something to bring in the new year, with Bill Twaway. That a New Year gift. The bombshell I'm talking about occurred recently when Bill Twaway was in the United States. Bill Twaway came to the United States recently and visited the city of Houston. The Port of Houston folks, he visited them and he brought a delegation with him. And I will tell you what happened with one of the delegation members on that particular visit. It's a bombshell on Bill Twaway. It's very interesting. You all will be talking about it. You'll be talking about a bombshell on the end of the new year with Bill Twaway. I will release it tomorrow.
Bekugbe Junior.
He came to the United States. He visited the city of Houston. The folks there, he brought with him Sekou Kole. Sekou Kole is let me get you his delegation. He brought with him Sekou Kole. Sekou Kole is the head of governmental whatever operations or affairs. Sekou B. Kole, executive director for governmental and international affairs at the port.
Mm-hmm.
He brought with him Miss Annette Simanibo, finance manager, and he brought with him Miss Stella Yankun, supervisor of monitoring and evaluation. That's the delegation Bill Torrey brought with him. And they met with the folks in Houston, Texas. And they said they want to establish, or they established sisterly relationships or relations with the Houston port. That's the largest port in the state of Texas. And while Bill Torrey was in America, something interesting happened, and I will be dropping that bombshell on you all.
They may also you again.
Oh, well, you get man get died 2 times, you die 1 time, you die. So we already in court. So I'll be dropping that bombshell. Something interesting happened while Bill Torrey was in America. And the thing that happened in the United States. It didn't happen anywhere else. It happened in America. And it too juicy. And I will drop it to you. I will drop it on you all tomorrow. Now, Bill Torrey New Year. It's funny, but it's sad, but it's serious, but it's nasty. I mean, there's plenty of things inside. It's too juicy. Now, Bill Torrey New Year. We'll do a special podcast and we'll drop the bombshell on Bill Torrey for his New Year. Ugly Bill Torrey. Let's go to the phone lines and take some calls.
The last time, Minister McGill debunked speculation about Liberia or the government turning over the railway to Buchanan Port, of the Buchanan Port to Salamita. According to him, the government haven't, and they will not do such a thing. They know the importance of the railway, so they will not do that. They are only trying to let me see.
Who said that?
Nathaniel McGill. He said accession is false, and the minister says such accession is false and misleading, describing the deal between the government and Salamita as a good deal, even though he stated that there are some issues still need to be addressed with the people of Nimba, but they haven't been able yet to turn over the railway to Salamita. That's what he said.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the phone lines and take some calls. It's not a deal we read. The deal we read. They wanted to give the rail and the port to ArcelorMittal. So it's a monopoly. Even the American ambassador said that too. He said he finds it problematic. Let's go to the lines and take some calls.
All right, so folks, the phone lines are open now. 0770-102-102-886, 010383 555 102-102. The WhatsApp number is +231 888 You know, after the show yesterday, Costa, I received numerous of calls. Your deliberation, your thing that you talked about yesterday on how you want the country to be. But if we can get a rightful person, a lot of people were so excited about the show yesterday.
A lot of people called me too. They like the things I said. But this is not my first time saying those things. This is how the country. And I read the comments. The feedbacks were very positive. A lot of people got in touch with me and said, "Hey man, Costa, we wish you could be running for president, but I'm not." You know, but we have a vision, but we're not running for president, not yet. But one day we will. One day we will. But to fix Liberia, you have to have a radical, bold vision. You have to have the balls. You have to have the courage to be able to do things. You cannot be the same way. You cannot run the country the way we've always run it. You cannot run the system the same way. You got to run it differently. You got to be radical. You got to be bold. You got to be courageous. And so, that's I got lots of positive feedbacks yesterday. But let's take calls there, Baka.
All right, so folks, keep your calls coming in. Those in the diaspora, the WhatsApp number is +231 888 624171. Once again, +231 888 624171. 0770-102-102-0886 010383 555 102-102. Let's take somebody from this line here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Walker. Yeah, I was one of those people yesterday. I was listening to the show that was daydreaming when Costa was talking. Even though I never seen Liberia when it was what like how people would say when Liberia, but was born in the war and grew up in the war. But when people talk about it and we living in foreign land, we know how it's like. It's not super perfect, but I mean, you want to see a country doing something that you. When I heard him talking yesterday, it was like a dream. I'm laying there like dreaming, like okay. And I had an argument with somebody with somebody on YouTube yesterday when I was listening to the Joe Weah song that he made for some Kalasco, I don't know, whatever. And I was like, what is this, Lord? When is this nonsense going to end?
I know.
I said, you want to be president? You want to be pastor? You want to be a musician, not even a gospel singer, but a worthy singer. What a confused man. And somebody
That's the problem.
wrote under my comment and said that this people like you are why Liberia is the way it is today. So I said, because I want a better thing for my country, because I want my country to stop being a laughing stock. That made that people like you. I said I love Joe. Yeah, don't get me wrong. When he was a football player, that's his calling, that's his profession. Not everybody doing good in that profession, and you want to take them and put it in the mansion. Everybody not a leader. But yeah, Liberian people, when somebody doing something like being a good journalist, oh, man, you can be a president, or man, you know you can be president, right? It's wrong. Let them stay. Why can't he be the best football player in the world? Why can't he be the best journalist in the world? Why you gotta take him and put him in the mansion because he's doing good at what he does? And you telling me like people like me are the reason because I want better for Liberia because I'm not kissing Joey.
Don't mind them, my sister.
So I just want to call and just tell me like all the dreams that he having, we were all daydreaming yesterday when he was talking.
Okay. Thank you so
I
much.
know. Everybody, and I'm sorry, but not everybody knows what to do because everybody doesn't have a great vision. I'm sorry, and having a vision, a real great vision, has nothing to do with your age, has nothing to do with your experience, because we know some of the greatest leaders in the world were very young people. In fact, the greatest leaders, all the things Rawlings did as president of Ghana, Buckeye, he was very young when he did those things, very young. All the things Thomas Sankara did, Thomas Sankara was much younger than me when he became president of, when he overthrew and he was a captain in the army. So it has nothing to do with age, it has nothing to do with experience. Having a bold vision is just about that. Having a bold vision, having the courage to go ahead and follow through on it and get it done. That's it. Let's take some calls there.
All right. So the phone lines, let's take somebody from this angle here. Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, voilà, the issue is that who tells you that I'm a pastor? I mean, I don't take pastor. I mean, I love all the small children, all around every pastor. I love every guy see one. He said, "Can I go to the children?" I'm like, "I said, I'm a pastor." I'm not stupid, man. I really pastor. I put a thing. I want to eat the charity, but all everybody they want to know that they go to hell. Just stupid or something. They say, pastor, if you life you should be doing this, you policy of people. Cause if anything, I will get you KHP. I'll wait till you. We are. That kind of minute, pastor. Thank you, good morning.
Thank you so much. Let's take somebody from the WhatsApp number this morning. Good morning. Welcome.
Daniel Collins said he wants to speak. You know, I mentioned the man in, so the man wants to call when he calls. I will pass him through here.
Yeah.
The man's an old ally of. I don't know what that old ally, that current ally, but
I guess someone on the line and he's calling. So let me take this person. After that, then we can talk to him. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Bwaka. And let me say good morning to Costa. You know, Bwaka, yeah, actually yesterday I missed the show, but later on in the evening when I came home, I went over the show and I was very excited yesterday. You know, actually I was doubting Joseph Bwaka to admit with a presidency. But from what Costa said yesterday, you know, with Costa, I can believe that Joseph Bwaka is going to do good. You know, Joseph Bwaka is somebody who takes things lightly. It's not like he's corrupt. It's not like he has problem, but he's somebody who don't do or fortitude. But with the leg of Costa, putting or fire beyond Joseph Boakai, I think Joseph Boakai is going to do well. And I believe that with Joseph Boakai being president for the Republic of Liberia, everything is going to go perfectly. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I have Darlington here. Let me take him. Comrade Collins, welcome.
Good morning, Brother Costa. Comrade Leader, I've got a little bit under the weather. My voice is very full.
We're sorry to hear that.
But I think it's important that I speak to this issue. And let me state for the record unequivocally that this is my first time going to speak to involving Jesse allegation of rape. As you may be aware, when Brother Jesse got arrested, I refrained from making public comments because I understand that people, no matter who they are to us, when they are accused, the only place that we can process and channel them is through the court of law. Whether your court system has their own challenges, that is up to judicial reform. But the final arbiter of justice in our land is the Supreme Court. Not only that, court have jurisdiction in hearing cases and dismissing cases as well. Well, I am not in a better place to render judgment as to whether Brother Vani Jesse, allegedly committed acts, or allegations of rape. But what I do know about the matter in question or in court is that Brother Jesse got released from prison on a medical condition. Whether we can question how sick he was, I'm not a medical practitioner. I'll refrain from speaking to that. But as equally, Brother Costa, as you are a friend and big brother, so is Brother Jesse. I've come to know this brother for a long time. And one thing I want to state here clearly on the show to the many listeners is that Brother Vani Jesse got acquitted by the Liberian court system. If you accuse somebody of rape or whatever crime it is, you must be on the positive side of going after those who you accuse in court. If you do not show up in court, or if your court they can't, even in the United States, Mr. Costa, when people accuse you of even police officers cite you to court, and they cannot follow up their case in court, they cannot come to court. Well, it is just fair that they
Daniel, let me hold you right. Let me hold you right there.
Right.
The government of George Weah deliberately, intentionally refused to prosecute Vani Jesse. And then they set him free on technical grounds. Under the laws, in a criminal case, if the state fails within 2 terms of court to bring your case to trial for prosecution, you may file for technical, you may file for acquittal on technical grounds. So Vani Jesse was never proven innocent. His trial was never concluded. After they released him from jail, allegedly or supposedly because of medical reasons, which was false, by the way. They always saw him working for Koji when he came up. Then they never pursue his case. That's what the state does when the state wants you to be set free. So Vani Jesse was never acquitted of the charges. The state refused to prosecute. And then after 2 terms of court without prosecution, his lawyers went and filed for him to be set free. So that's what happened. He was never clear in court, and it was a miscarriage of justice because the state did not prosecute him. That's what happened.
Yes, and I agree with the information you have provided to me. I mean, of course, if the prosecution,
and this is the state, and it's not the family, it's not the victim, it is the state. The state refused to prosecute because they wanted Vani Jesse to walk free. That's what they did. The state, yes, represents the victim, precisely.
So if the failure of the state to come to court with evidence, Vani Jesse, look, see, the law, the arm of the law works is that even the defendant will have a hearing court and their right to counsel. If the failure of the state to look after, their own citizen interest and allegations of rape come, then it is unfortunate on the part of the state.
Because the state had intentions. The very machinery of the state that ensured that Vani Jesse was released on fake claims of poor health is the very machinery of the state that coordinated to ensure that Vanny Johnson was never brought to trial so that they could set him free. But Comrade Collins, thank you so much. And yes, please. Yeah.
I know for a fact that when Jassy case went to trial, even under the administration, he appeared in court up to 2 to 3 times. The records are there, the court records can reflect it.
But trial did not commence. He was arraigned before trial and the date was set, but they never prosecuted. In fact, that was the reason why they even used that technical ground to get him off the hook, because he was never really tried because they never wanted him to be tried. That's what happened, Comrade.
So yeah, you could be right about this, and I'm not going to speak as an authority of this, but what I want us to understand is that anyone that is accused and placed before court or trial, they obviously have the right to counsel. If the state cannot go after the case, it is understood that the defendant, push for a motion to dismiss the case.
And I don't disagree. That is the law. The state must prosecute.
Yes, and that is also lawful. So if the state cannot go after people who were accused on such allegations, or the state cannot come to court with evidence, it is just fair that defendants, lawyer, all across the country will obviously be pushing for a motion to dismiss. I try not to these kinds of issues, so I don't get conflicted. Brother Jassy, I've come to know him for a very long time. He's a brother of mine. I've never pushed or questioned his innocence on this matter. I've never spoke to this with any.
No, I agree, Comrade. I don't recall you ever jumping to his defense.
But the only reason that made me to call, Brother Jassy have a long-standing record with the All African Student Movement, right? He has served in us before as Vice President of International Affairs. So if the continental student body, decided to elect Brother Jassy, he allowed me to walk in with the student politics.
I am not impressed, Comrade. This comrade was dogged by allegations of corruption at Linsu. You remember this? Linsu was divided under him. It was a very divided organization. So I am not impressed. Yeah, he is bereft of the qualities required to run such a large student body. But Comrade, thank you so much. Anytime. Anytime. Thank you so much. That's Comrade Darlington Collins there, a long-time comrade of that thief, Vanny Jassy, and the rapist. I know Vanny Jassy did it. He did mess with that little girl. Boga, let's take more calls there.
All right, let's go to the WhatsApp number and take this person that been calling. Good morning, welcome. Your name, where you joining us from? Good morning. Okay.
As I said, tomorrow we'll drop the bombshell on Bill Traore for his Christmas and his New Year.
Good morning.
Ain't that the best, eh? So we'll drop the bombshell right New Year's Eve. That Amen New Year.
Amen New Year gift. Good morning.
Amen New Year gift.
I just don't know what's happening, but let's take Mohammed Chicharito Kone on this other line. Yeah. Good morning, Chicharito, and welcome.
Good morning, Pastor. Good morning to the Royal President. My name is Mohammed S. and I'm calling from Vancouver. Now they just issue. We'll talk about this morning. And I listened to one time point, my son calling for some level of defensive for him. But this is the best area of this analysis. Case or short, especially when yes, the complainant, yes, have issue. But the case is between the government or the federal Liberia and the defendant. Ask any lawyer, they will tell you. Case or short is between the federal Liberia because the person commit the conventional require against the state. State law is rape. If one is alleged of rape, a person needs to be ported and sent to court. Federal on the government part, then that is a political action on it. If you will release all federal bill for us to that you will have to do it, that's another political action on it. My leader regularly stated that is exactly that happened. Because we did have places we banned yesterday, started to use that to have me released. And that is one of the things that undermining the justice system of this country. So the matter was when they exported criminals to other countries, but I don't believe that they are on that aspect. The organizer of that particular election, Ghana, they have done a fact check on banning justice. Because before somebody contest for public office, you need to check their record. If you have an alleged victim, be certificated as a candidate to law. So failure on the community part of Ghana, I believe that I don't believe as well as well. This was fact check all the candidates that was easy to contest. Banning justice as we know, yes, I don't believe that the government also I believe the organizing committee.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's take somebody from the WhatsApp number this morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Boakai. Good morning, Henry Pero Costa. I'm calling you from Vegas this morning. I wanted to ask Costa a question because most of the time I hear him talking about we need a Jerry Rollins in Liberia. So I wanted him to explain to me how Boakai will be the Rollins. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll take
I did not tell you Joe Boakai will be Jerry Rollins. I did not tell you Joe Boakai will be Thomas Sankara. I did not tell you Joe Boakai will be a Paul Kagame. I do not know that. I cannot speak to that. Jerry Rollins and Joe Boakai, they're not the same people. Nope. Thomas Sankara and Joe Boakai, they're not the same people. I never told you that. And I will never tell you that. But I wait to see what Joe Boakai will do as president. But I cannot sit here and tell you, say Joe Boakai will be like Jerry Rollins. You think I will do that? No. We all know how radical Rollins was, how progressive what Rollins was. Now, I don't know Joe Boakai to be like that. But maybe Joe Boakai will be different, but in a good way, in his own way. But I'm not going to say he will be like Rollins. No.
So Costa,
I would never tell you that.
Yesterday, some people fear whether Costa. We know Costa have the ideas. He's pushing it. He may tell Mr. Boakai, let's do this. Let's try to change what we the Liberian people want. Let's do this. But their fear is, there are some folks sitting now on a fence that doesn't want to come in front like the way you are doing to push the agenda of JMB. But once JMB become president, that's the time they will come and surrender him, that you yourself, Costa, will not even say get access to.
It always happens. A lot of my supporters have expressed that concern to me. Costa, you're pushing this man today.
Mm-hmm.
You're pushing him. And many of us are supporting him because of you. And you're doing this, you're doing that. But tomorrow when he becomes president, how sure are you will be able to influence his policies? There's no guarantee. I'm not going to sit there and tell you that I have any assurances that tomorrow when Boakai is president, that I will influence his policies, or I know for a fact that he will listen to me. I don't have any guarantees. And I will not give you any guarantees because I don't have any. Nobody knows the future, Boakai. Nobody knows the future. I can't sit down and tell you, all the radical ideas I have, Boakai, Joe Boakai, a president, Joe Boakai will implement them. I will not tell you that. And to you, that caller who said, how sure are we Boakai will be Rollins? I did not tell you Boakai will be Jerry Rollins. I don't even think Joe Boakai can do the Rollins did in terms of how radical Rollins was. But Rollins was a military man too. That's another point. Rollins executed. Do you know that the current, I will check this, but I think that's the case. The current president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, do you know who executed his father? Boakai?
Yeah.
Rollins. Yes. I will check that, but I think, it was Rollins who executed Nana Akufo-Addo's father. So I can't sit here and tell you I know for a fact that Joe Boakai will be like Jerry Rawlings. I can tell you that. I do not know that, and I will not tell you that, and I will not promise you that. I cannot tell you that Joe Boakai will be like Thomas Sankara. But I believe the leader that will radically change, that will change Liberia, has to be like Rawlings, has to be like Sankara, has to be like Lee Kuan Yew, has to be like Paul Kagame, absent the brutal dictatorship. The leader that will change, radically, really change Liberia to make it the country we know it can become. So that's it. But I know Joe Boakai has great plans. I know he wants to do great things. But I mean, radical, visionary. I can't. Have I said that yet? That Boakai will be like Jerry Rawlings? No, I've never said that because I don't know. I don't know that.
Another issue here is that the issue about those that will be going to the House of Representatives and the Senate, because once you have people that will go into the House of Representatives,
it doesn't matter if you have the good president in the mansion. It doesn't matter who is in the Senate, who is in the House. Boakai, it doesn't matter. There was a parliament in Ghana when Rawlings was in the presidency in Ghana. Rawlings radically changed Ghana. Let me tell you something. Rawlings radically changed Ghana. It doesn't matter who is senator, or who is representative. A radical, progressive president with courage will change the country. It does not matter. So I'm not saying I'm not going to sit down here and speak. Look, this is what I will not do. I will not do sycophancy. I will not come to down here and lie to you and say, I know for a fact that Joe Boakai will be like Jerry Rawlings. I don't know that. Why must I tell you that? Boakai? Why must I tell you that Joe Boakai will be like Thomas Sankara? Why must I tell you that? Joe Boakai will be Joe Boakai, and we wait to see what Joe Boakai will do. But I can't tell you that he will be, because we know what Rawlings did in Ghana, how he turned Ghana around, the radical decisions he made, some of which were very unpopular at the time. We know what Sankara did in Burkina Faso in just 4 short years, turned that country around. We know what Paul Kagame did in Rwanda after the genocide that claimed 800,000 lives. We know that. But we have not seen what Joe Boakai has not had power. He hasn't had power. So we do not know, and we have not seen his style of leadership as president. So we wait to see. But for me to tell you that Boakai will be like Rawlings and Boakai will be like Thomas Sankara, I will not tell you that because I do not know that.
So my question,
that you have to understand. I will not tell you what I don't know, and I will not lie for any politician because I myself have my own future. So we are supporting Joe Boakai so that Boakai may prove himself.
So my question now is,
I cannot tell you that he will be like Sankara or he will be like Rawlings. I cannot tell you that.
Okay, Costa, my question is, if your expectations in Boakai, former vice president,
my expectations in Joe Boakai are very high. Listen, I have high expectations of Joe Boakai.
Okay, so
Costa, his love of country and based on his integrity, my expectations are high.
Okay, Costa. So now, if those,
but I cannot tell you, my expectations are as high to match or to say I expect him to do the things that Rawlings did in Ghana and the things that Sankara did in Burkina Faso. No, I'm sorry, I cannot tell you that.
All right, so
but my expectations are high.
Okay, all of it, your high expectation, if they are not met in the next 1 year.
I don't expect Joe Boakai to do all the things I want. The things I want are too radical. Most leaders don't do the things I want. Let me tell you something, Boakai. People like Rawlings and Sankara don't come every day. They come once in a while. Great leaders, extremely great leaders, they are rare. They are uncommon. They come every other generation, once in a generation. The likes of Rawlings, the likes of Sankara, they don't come every election cycle. So I'm not going to sit down here and tell you, say, you know, so my expectations, I know what I expect of Joe Boakai. But I'm not going to sit down here and tell you, Boakai, that I expect Joe Boakai to be like Rawlings. I expect Joe Boakai to be like Sankara. Do you know what Sankara did, Biggie? Have you read about Sankara? You boy? First of all, The thing Sankara did, I'm yet to find an African president who, look, Sankara was way ahead of his time. Rawlings. So I'm not going to sit out here and then say Joe Biden will beat Thomas Sankara or will be Rawlings. I'm sorry, but my expectations are very high of Joe Biden. And why are they high? They are high because Joe Biden has integrity and Joe Biden loves the country and Joe Biden wants to do good. That's why and he has a reputation, a good reputation, and he has character that has been tested time and again. Therefore, my expectations of Bwaka are high. But do I think that Joe Bwaka will beat Thomas Sankara? I'm sorry, I don't. Do I think he will be like Jerry Rawlings? No. I'm not going to sit down here and lie to people because I support Joe Bwaka. Bwaka, the things that Sankara did in Burkina Faso, Begin, go read about Sankara. Today in Burkina Faso, the people can say they still want Sankara. They still want Sankara today. After all those years, do you know that they are prosecuting the people who executed Sankara? They assassinated him. But there is an ongoing trial or a series of trials in Burkina Faso. They impaneled a whole team of people. They are prosecuting all the people, including former President Blaise Compaoré, who staged the coup against Sankara. Prince Johnson was the man that shot Sankara in Burkina Faso. So I beg you, Sankara was way ahead of his time. I beg you. And big brother Dian Festus, we're not talking about the military things. I'm talking about the bold, radical vision of Sankara. You know what? Some people don't know. Let me pull up some of the highlights of Sankara's achievements in those 4 short years he was in office, and he was just telling something years old. So I beg you, so y'all can know how Sankara was. You think Sankara was a small man? And he was a Peking. He was a captain Peking. But the things Sankara did, many leaders have not come close to doing them. So I beg you, don't compare Sankara with just anybody. I got too much respect, and the world respects Sankara. Yeah, and Prince Johnson was the man that shot and killed Thomas Sankara, so that they could pave the way for them to come to Burkina Faso to train to bring their stupid war to Liberia. They killed a good leader like Sankara to come fight war in Liberia. Can you imagine that nonsense? Huh? To bring useless president like Charles Taylor and Ellen Johnson shall lead them. They kill a good leader like Sankara. So Blaise Compaoré is hiding because he's still abroad. But let me go to Thomas Sankara achievements, you boy. Let me go to achievement. I beg you, y'all think Sankara is small man? So I'm not gonna sit down here and tell you, oh, that man will do that 1 year. He will be like Sankara. No, I will not tell you that. I don't know that. Now, Thomas Sankara, in 4 years in office from 1983 to 1987, when he was assassinated, let me give you his highlights. He vaccinated 2.5 million children against meningitis, yellow fever, and measles in a matter of weeks. He was so effective. 2.5 million Burkinabe children in just a few weeks against meningitis, yellow fever, and measles. He initiated a nationwide literacy campaign to teach people who didn't know how to read and write, increasing the literacy rate from 13% in 1983 to 73% in 1987. Okay? From 13% of people who could read and write in Burkina Faso to 73% in 1987. In just 4 years, he was able to do that. He planted over 10 million trees to prevent desertification. 10 million trees across Burkina Faso. He built roads and a railway to tie the country together without foreign aid. Not $1 in foreign aid. He built railroad. He built roads to connect the entire country in those 4 years. He appointed females to high governmental positions, encouraged them to work. He recruited them into the military. Women. You talking about gender empowerment, women empowerment? Sankara was a leader, way ahead of his time. He granted them pregnancy leave during education. He outlawed female genital mutilation. He said, you will not circumcise women, you will not touch them, you will not cut them, whatever. He did that. He outlawed forced marriages. You will not take no woman against her will and marry her off to some man that she does not love. He outlawed polygamy. He said, you will not take one man, you take two women by force against their will. He promoted women's rights. Thomas Sankara. He sold off the entire government fleet of Mercedes-Benzes, all the government cars. The minister were driving Mercedes-Benzes. He took the entire government fleet. He sold all the vehicles. He replaced them with Renault 5. It was the cheapest car sold in Burkina Faso at the time. Do I believe that Joe Wagga will come and take Baki Solo and give it the ministers? I wait to see that. I wait to see. Thomas Sankara sold off all the government expensive Mercedes-Benzes that the ministers were driving, and he gave them Renault 5. The cheapest car sold in Burkina Faso at the time is what ministers in his government were driving, Renault 5. He reduced the salaries of all public servants, including his own salary. He forbade the use of government chauffeurs and first-class airline tickets. He said no government minister will have a driver. You will drive yourself. Okay? No government minister will have a driver. You will drive yourself. And no government official will fly first class abroad. He redistributed land from feudal land laws, all the big chateaux, all the big land. He took all the land from them. He gave the land directly to the peasants, to the peasants, to the ordinary people. Here's what happened after he did that. Wheat production, the production of wheat, which they used to make bread and other things. The production of wheat rose in 3 years from 1,700 kilograms per hectare to 3,800 kilograms per hectare. Jesus Christ. He made Burkina Faso a food self-sufficient country in just a few years. He opposed foreign aid. And he said, he who feeds you controls you. That's what Sankara said. He said, we don't want foreign aid.
Sure.
He spoke in forums like the African Unity against continued neo-colonialist penetration of Africa through Western trade and finance. He called for a united front of Africa. And he said they should repudiate aid, they should refuse aid. In Burkina Faso, in Ouagadougou, the capital city, Sankara converted the Amex provisioning store into a state-owned supermarket. He took the Amex store in the capital city. He turned it into a supermarket for the people. The first supermarket in the country was established by Thomas Sankara. He forced civil servants to pay 1 month's salary to public projects. You take pay 12 months a year, 1 month pay will go to public projects. He refused to use air conditioning in his office on grounds that such luxury was not available to anyone but a handful of Burkinabés. The head of the country did not have air conditioning in his office. Are you listening? This is why you think I'm going to compare him to some other politician that I have not seen what they would do. No. Listen, Morgan. As president, he lowered his salary to $450 US a month. And he limited his possessions to a car, 4 motorbikes, 3 guitars, a refrigerator, and a broken freezer. Those are all the things Sankara owned. You want me to repeat? 1 car, 4 motorbikes, 4 bikes, 3 guitars, a refrigerator, and a broken freezer. He was a motorcyclist. He loved motorcycles. He formed an all-women motorcycle personal guard. All his personal guard were women, and they rode motorcycles. He required public servants to wear a traditional tunic woven from Burkinabe cotton and sewn by Burkinabe craftsmen. He said, at least once a month, you got to wear our traditional attire to promote the national identity and to also promote local industry. When asked why he didn't want his picture, this is one of my favorites. I know it's intangible, but it's one of the things I want to see as president of Liberia one day if God gives me the power. He said his picture must not be hung in any public building, in any public space. The picture of the president, he said, do not hang my photograph in any public building, in any public space. And they asked him why. He said, there are 3 million Thomas Sankaras. Why should you hang my picture anywhere? We must celebrate the country. Not me, don't hang my picture anywhere. But imagine this. Imagine a president who refuses to be worshipped. A president who rejects the idea of elevating him above the country. He said, do not hang my photograph in any public office, in any public building. Do not hang my picture there. Do not do that. I'm sorry, this is my favorite African leader of all time, Baka, Thomas Sankara. This is my favorite African leader. I'm sorry. This is my role model. This is the guy that I want to be like, Thomas Sankara. I don't want to be like anybody else but Thomas Sankara in terms of leadership. You see that? As an accomplished guitarist, he wrote the new national anthem of the country himself. The current national anthem of Burkina Faso. He wrote it, Baka. When Thomas Sankara seized power in 1983, it was a popularly supported coup d'etat. He was just 33 years old. He was 33 years old when he came to power. Baka. 33 years old. Sankara refused aid from the IMF. He never took money from the IMF. He never took loans from the IMF, from the World Bank. Nothing. Okay. So now you understand where I'm coming from, right? About Thomas Sankara, right?
Okay, so now the question here is that the person he took over from, the budget the person left there, were that the money that he started from, or what? There was nothing in the coffers when he took over?
Well, it was just the money that was there, but he helped to grow the economy. So he was not just a radical, bold leader. He was brilliant too. He was 33 years old. He was a small boy, 33 years old, but he was brilliant. And he helped to expand the country's economy. He helped to tap into the country's own potential. He refused to take foreign aid. He did all these things without foreign aid, and without any loans from the IMF or the World Bank. So Sankara was not an ordinary leader. But I beg you, don't just compare him easily with anybody. I don't see anybody who has stood up to the level of Thomas Sankara. I mean, Paul Kagame has done wonderful things as far as development is concerned, progress is concerned. But what I don't like is how he kills people in the country who don't celebrating or speak of him. So come on, please, I beg you. So Sankara was not an ordinary man. But let's go back to the phone lines and take some calls there.
Okay, so the phone lines are open: 0770-102-102-86-010-383, 555-102-102. The WhatsApp number is +231-888-624171. You know, folks, when you see me asking some of these questions, I'm asking Costa, you know, his expectation, and people want to ask a similar question I'm asking. So that's what I'm using this medium to ask the question that they want to, because after the show.
I mean, and I like that you ask me those questions, Baka. I like that you ask me those questions. I mean, of course I do.
Because after the show, I do receive a lot of calls, people asking me the question that you see me posting to Costa. So that's what I'm normally, when they ask me, I come here and asking the questions, and he will, address
the country's name was Upper Volta. He changed the name to Burkina Faso, which means the land of proud people, something like that. Burkina Faso means the land of proud people. It was Upper Volta, but he changed the name to Burkina Faso. Let's take some calls there. Right now, they're building a massive statue in his honor, I believe, and they're prosecuting these people for his assassination, his overthrow and assassination. If Thomas Sankara had not been killed, assassinated by Prince Johnson and the likes, the land of upright men. Thank you, Darlington. That's it. That's what Burkina Faso means. So Sankara, there are very few people you can compare with Sankara with the work that he did in so short a period of time. Very few people. Let's take some calls there.
Let's take Martina Konate on this line. Martina, good morning.
Joe Baga will be Thomas Sankara.
Good morning, leader. Good morning to our many listeners.
Wait to see what Baga does.
Martina Konate, Costa Praise, calling from Fiamma this morning.
Welcome.
Waka, thank you for having me on the show. Leader, what you said that we cannot compare Thomas Sankara to any African leaders, you are right. Because I don't see a leader that would do what he did for his people. For me, like what you said, I got faith and confidence in JNB. For the matter of fact, JNB worked in public sector for 20 some more years without no mark of corruption. That means he got love for his country and his people want the best. I can compare JNB of Tanzania, the late president. I know he will do better. But to say he will be reach to Thomas Sankara, no.
No. Martina, you took it right out of my mouth. I can compare JMB. I can hope that JMB will be as good as John Magufuli of Tanzania. And Magufuli was a great leader. But to the Thomas Sankara level, I'm not sure.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I mean, my princess, they took it right out of my mouth. Magufuli was a great leader. I think JMB will be able to do that. But to reach the Sankara level,
all right, let's get somebody from the West.
Sankara.
Good morning, welcome.
Yeah, good morning again, Boakai and Costa. You know, Costa is a smart young man that I really admired. Listening to his story about Thomas Sankara and Jerry Rawlings, I was the one that asked the question. So one more thing here again is that come 2023, Ome Boakai will be weak. And Costa is a smart man. Why Costa should be supporting Ome Boakai?
Because I believe in Joe Boakai.
Maryland County and drive from Monrovia to Foya District.
Because I believe in Joe Boakai. And he will make a great leader.
Somebody that have the energy to be like Thomas Sankara.
Okay, thank you so much.
You see, he's a Cummins supporter. And he said that. Let me tell you this. I don't believe in Alice Cummins. Cummins has never struck me as a progressive leader. None. Cummins has no history of being in a corrupt system and resisting corruption and not being corrupt himself. Cummins has never demonstrated that. So I don't know Cummins. Boakai has been tested. He has been tried. He has been tested. And the reason I'm mentioning Cummins is because you asked me. Otherwise, I would not mention him here. Otherwise, I would not mention him. I believe that Joe Boakai can measure up, can be as great as John Magufuli. I believe that Joe Boakai can do that. I believe he can. And so that's why I support Joe Boakai. You see, when you support a leader, you gotta have expectations of them. What do I expect of Joe Boakai? I expect great things of Joe Boakai. I believe he can deliver up to the level of the great fallen leader of Tanzania, John Magufuli. So I believe that. And I'm sorry, I don't know Cummins. Cummins has never been tried and tested. He is an untested commodity. I will not play gamble. No Coco and Missy Beneye. No Coco and Missy Beneye. No, you tell it when you win, you tell it when you lose. No way. Joe Boakai is a tested commodity. We know certain things about him. He's been in a corrupt system. He came out squeaky clean, no corruption. Honesty, integrity, and he loves his country. So we wait to see, we wait to see. But Cummins, I'm sorry. I do not trust him. I don't know what he stands for.
Let's take somebody from the WhatsApp number. Good
Anybody
morning.
can say they won't be president.
Good morning, Bro Boakai. And good morning, Daddy Harampi Costa.
Morning, my son.
And you see, to the brother who just left a line, leadership is not about weakness or strength or ages. Look at Thomas Sankara, 33 years of age. He was small. And then looking at GNB, I was one person in Liberia that told my people that if we made mistake to make Joshua president, we're gonna leave Liberia, and we left when he became president. So now you can see things for yourself. Nobody need to tell you. So looking at GNB right now to see that Costa expectation is so high, is right. Because you can't compare nobody right now in the race that at least we can put our trust in, to bring that change, that level of change. Nobody beside him, because we have tested him. And you know, saying he been in the public office for like 42 years, I think. So at least we can consider that, you know, to put our, you know, our trust in him, and you know, to fight for the change that we all fighting for, or we all, you know, want to see. But besides that, there's nothing else. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right, thank you so much. I will take another person from the same WhatsApp number. Good morning, welcome. Good morning.
Okay, good morning, Walker. Do you hear me well?
Yeah, your name is joining us from?
Okay, my name is Lin Fugua. I'm coming from Norway. And I know this morning I'll start again with Costa. Costa, one thing I want you to know, you talk all these great attributes about Thomas and Sankara, and you said you want to be a meeting, you try to go more. I don't actually that asking you for the fact that you are not even become president, you are just the head of the CEO, the CEO, and you tell that you are following a social, which is all of us admire, but when you get carried away, I was either we get carried away. Thomas Sankara,
Hey, hold on. What do you mean by get carried away?
So how do you draw the line?
Well, I just ask my man, what does it mean by I get carried away when people call me their leader? Let me explain, please.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Costa is asking your question. He's asking how do he be carried away when people
What
call
does
him?
it mean by I get carried away when people call me their leader?
Oh, Costa, we need to know that.
Hey, man, explain the thing now. You just told us you must explain. You know what I explain?
So there's nothing for you to argue about.
Hey, my man, let me explain. How does it mean that I get carried away when people call me their leader?
Okay, so you have your own way, but you cannot
Hello?
be Sankara.
Hello?
Nobody has ever, no independent guy ever ordered Joe Walker to play.
Hey, my man. Don't leave Joe Walker Bennett. You talk about me. I'm asking you, what do you mean by I get carried away when people call me their leader? Is he still there, Bogai?
Yeah, he's still here. So Costa is asking, how do we be carried away when people call him their leader?
Oh, we can see you.
Oh, man, cut the damn man off. I knew he wasn't going to answer anything, stupid fool. You see, I just knew. Just because he doesn't like Costa, so he finds something stupid to say. You know, that's all he's trying to do. The damn fool. And you just call, you want to talk nonsense. So you got nothing to talk, you just want to laugh. Oh yeah, Costa can get carried away. You know how long people call me a leader? Tens of thousands of people see me as their leader. And there's nothing you can do about it, my brother. Tens of thousands of people in Liberia and around the world call me their leader, their hero. I worked my way to that level. It didn't happen overnight. You want people to call you their leader and their hero? Make the sacrifices that we have made. You just call, you talk nonsense. You think people suddenly call me their leader for nothing? You think why don't they call everybody their leader and their hero? They call me that because I earned it. And I will not be ashamed to claim my what I work for. I work for it, my brother. I sacrificed to be where I am by the help of God and the amazing people that I work with. So don't just call and tell something stupid. Let's take another caller. I am a detector. Yes, I am a detector. That's what I am. And you still following the show? Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning.
When people get out there, they can just stupid things. You go flamboyant. Where you go flamboyant? Your LS coming like you're supporting non flamboyant. ANC people. Stupid people.
Yeah, I'm calling you from home.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I heard Henry talking about Sankara and Jerry Rawlings. We can also say that the time the guys ruled, leadership is a revolving thing, okay? And times have changed drastically, especially with the advent of technology. Leadership is about coming out with a heart and being willing to serve backed by strong integrity. But the thing is that current day leadership is based on
you being surrounded by the right people, the right persons, and the right team. So this is something that we can believe in Joseph Parker for. If Joseph Parker surrounds himself with the right people, with the right team, with the right technocrat, with the right radicals, we can carry on a similar Sankara style or Sankara oriented or Paul Kagame oriented leadership, and Labra can be transformed. Okay, so we don't have to be the Sankara. Joseph Parker doesn't have to be the Sankara, but Joseph Parker can come with a heart. Joseph Parker can come with the will and strength to lead and be surrounded by the right people. And we trust that with the relationship between him and Henry, most of what Henry is now espousing and what he did yesterday, those are things that can be sold over, that can be carried over into a Joseph Parker leadership, and we can still have a better Liberia. So Joseph Parker will come as a Joseph Parker, will not come as a Sankara, will not come as a Kagame, will not come as a Wellington. And we ought to trust that if we surround himself with the right thing, we can do better for this country. Thank you.
And I agree with you, Brother Mike. I agree. Once Joe Parker surrounds himself with the right people, he appoints the right people, and that he is firm and stern on them, that he does not waver when it comes to punishing those who will do wrong, and that he himself leads by example, which I believe he will lead by example. And I think Joe Parker will do a good job. I have no doubt in Joe Parker's ability to perform well. No doubt whatsoever. No doubt. Joe Parker will outshine Ellen Johnson Sirleaf by far. Now, one of the reasons why Ellen hates Joe Parker, because Joe Parker will do way better than her. You think Joe Parker will hire a training? You will never see Jojo Parker in a government job. You will never see Jojo Parker then running the show in Liberia. You will never see that with Joe Parker in the mansion. His son, Jojo Parker, then, his children will never run the show. He will never allow them. He doesn't do it now. He doesn't do it now. He does not allow them to meddle around anything. So I have my expectations of Joe Parker, and I think they are fair and they are realistic. He will do a good job. Let's take some more calls there, Parker. Let's take 3 more calls or 4. Make it 4, and then we'll call it a day.
All right. Let's take somebody from this line here. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Baka. Let me say good morning to our leader. Let me say good morning to our hero, the incoming senator of 2023, Leader Henry Pedro Costa. My name is Stephen S. Bona. I'm calling from Johnsonville. Let me say thank you to Leader this morning for his estimation. Leader, there is no doubt. You don't have anything to justify. You have done it over the years. And some of us, we are witness. We are only following, we are only listening. But this time, there is time for everything. We are here to contribute, making sure that we make you the next senator, so that good leadership that you have will be demonstrated at the level of the Liberian Senate. And afterward and going forward, the Liberian people will have no doubt. Even your haters will know that indeed that what you preach, you're able to do it. So when it comes to JMB, we'll vote for JMB because of you. Some of us will vote JMB because of your Henry Pedro Costa. We'll vote JMB, and if JMB comes to the presidency and he decides to do whatever he thinks he can do, it is up to him. It is up to him, it is up to his legacy, and what he lived for, we always remember him, and he will go down in the book of history. Of our leader, we have hope, we have faith in you, leader, that you will do better, and you even do better than Thomas Sankara. We have that faith in you.
Thank you so much, my brother. That's Martina once again. Martina, welcome back.
Thank you, brother, for having me on the line. You're not going to tell me I was coming across the whole day. Let me answer that hypocrite that called Jenna. He is a leader who leads us. Whether you accepted, you're not accepted, you are a leader. Now, what empty Facebook advocates that are beating their chest, our leader, give it for 50 men also. He is a leader and he works towards it. You like it or not. After politicians in Liberia know that Henry Costa is a leader. When he supports you, victory is yours. And he works for it. The time you were criticizing him when he started it, but today the Liberian people will believe in him. He is a leader, you like it or not. He works for him, he earns it. If you want to earn your own, go and stop your advocacy. Don't bring other people down. Build yourself so people will call you leader. We will not support Kumis because all of y'all are calling you are Kumis supporters. We're not supporting no damn baby police. Thank you for having me. I want to answer that email.
Thank you so much. Few more calls. 70-102-102.
But we said we're not going to talk about their people here. But they're the one can bring it up. And we said we're talking about that yet.
Sure.
Yeah, the only person we'll talk about here are the candidate that we are supporting. We don't want to bother Cummings. We don't want to be bothered. But y'all keep bringing the man up. Yeah. Why I can't support him? Why I'm supporting Joe Parker? Is that your business? Am I supposed to support? Ain't nobody other man ask me. Why am I supporting Joe Parker? Why I can't support Cummings? That your business. I don't want to support Cummings. I don't respect Cummings in that way. I don't think Cummings is able to do what I want to see happen in a country. I'm not interested in a president who will tell me how he can change the economy, he can do this, he can do that. Joe Parker may not be an economist, he may not have the business acumen that Cummings has, but Parker will hire the people who do have it, who possess it. But one thing I know, he will ensure that there is integrity in the government. I can't say that about Cummings. The man who pay money all over the place to try to buy people, bribing people in their political parties. I can't say that about him. He already doing corruption today. So you better don't get me started on Ellis Cummings here. I beg you. But let's talk about different thing.
Yeah, let's take
Cummings
on the line.
To hell with y'all and Cummings.
Good morning, brother. Good morning, Pedro.
Good morning.
This is Thomas from Baltimore. I just want to comment on Chucky Taylor, podcast the other day Costa had. The first time he had interview with Chucky Taylor, he came out to apologize to the Liberian people. And he said they should forgive him. The second interview, he changed 360 degrees that he did not commit any crime in Liberia. But this is what's wrong with us Liberians. We try to support people who have committed heinous crime against our citizens. And when it comes to power, we award them with power. But, I just want to say thanks to Nathaniel Kwa, who ran into Costa yesterday to come here and talk about his story. And I will encourage every other person who has story about Chucky Taylor to come out and say it, because the United States government can never accuse you of something that they don't have evidence of. Okay, so I just want to tell Costa, thank you for the podcast yesterday, which landed myself in a dreamland. If Joseph Walker can just do those things that he outlined yesterday, he will make a good leader. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Thomas, for calling in.
Somebody asked me to say, apparently, I think he's a supporter of Joe Burger. He says, your last two shows were not promotive or were not promoting of Joe Walker. What do you mean by that? I have my own vision for how I want to see the country. Joe Walker has his own vision. There are some similarities, but I'm a radical. I'm different. Joe Walker and I were not the same people. Does that mean Joe Walker will not be a good leader? No. I think Joe Walker will make a great leader. But Joe Walker and I, we don't have the same, we don't have uniform vision. We don't see eye to eye on everything. I'm a radical, and I know Walker is not a radical. You see, I believe to change Liberia, you got to be extremely radical, especially to change Liberia overnight. But I'm not expecting him to be like me in every way, like the things I was saying yesterday, extremely radical things, and that's me. I've always said these things. Walker, you've been on the show with me, and I've always said these very radical things. You see, that's who I am. And I don't expect anybody else to be like me, but that's who I am. That's what I believe in. A radical approach is what Liberia needs. And I believe that Joe Biden will do a good job. I believe that. But it doesn't mean that he must be like me. So just because I outline the radical things I want to see happen, so you think it undermines Joe Burger? Of course not. Joe Burger doesn't tell me what to say on my show, and my show does not exist entirely to promote Joe Burger. My show exists to push for a better Liberia, to educate and enlighten the Liberian people to stand up for themselves, to want better for themselves, and of course, to propagate my own vision for the country. That's what my show exists here for, to tell the people what I believe in, what my vision is. That's how we influence people to follow us and believe in us. So I was not, this is my vision. if my vision is not entirely like Joe Barker's vision, it's normal. No two people will have the same vision will have the exact same vision. No, there will be some dissimilarities and some similarities. You understand? So I will tell you the truth. I will not sit here and tell you stuff that I don't believe in. You understand? I will not tell you that. And one thing you all can never accuse me of is that Joe Barker pays me to do what I do for him, because, of course, he doesn't have money to pay me. There are people who have money to pay me. I don't want to support them because I don't believe in giving me money to support you. I don't believe in that. So I support the man who I think will do good for the country. And he has nothing to pay me. And I have even given up money and lost money because of him, because I believe he will do good for the country. That's what I know. He will do good for the country. So I cannot sell out now for small money. And then, no. Let's take 2 more calls there. So the one thing you can never say Joe Barker give me money, because we all know he ain't got no money to give me. We all know that. Yeah. I support a candidate with the least amount of money, or with the least financial resources.
All right. So we'll take 2 calls, like Costa said this morning, just 2 more, then we go on to this edition of the show. 0770102. Those in the diaspora can call on WhatsApp. That's +231 888 624171. That's the WhatsApp number you can call.
2 more calls and we'll call it a day. 2 more calls. You know, the thing I like, one of the things I like about myself is that I speak my mind. I speak my mind even to those who support me. I tell you how I feel and what I believe. And I don't really care what you think about it, as long as that's what I believe. You see, that's what I believe. So I speak my mind. I tell you the truth about what I think. I tell you what I expect of Joe Barker. And I tell you what I know what Joe Barker can do. You see, so I have no doubt that Barker would make a good leader. He has a lot of experience. He's been in government for long. He has seen all the bad things in government. He knows what to do, how to fix it, and the kind of team to form. You understand? So I know that. So, but I will not tell you things here like I'm making promises for Joe Barker. I will not make promises for any politician.
All right,
not even one as honest and decent as Joe Barker. I will not make promises for him. I will tell you what I believe he can do and he will do, but I will not make straight up commitments on his behalf. I will not do that because I will not be the president. He will be the president. I will not be the one calling the shots. He will be the one calling the shots. So you got to understand that. And you know why? I too have my own future. I have my own vision. I have things that I want to do in the future, God willing, if I ever become president of the country. And I know when I say that, some of you get irritated. But look at the man you guys are president today. He does not have a quarter of my intelligence, a quarter of my sophistication. He does not have it, of my knowledge. The man who you're president today, he can near my small toe set, if I say quarter of my intelligence and my vision. But he your president. And you see the way you're operating, you're running the country? All right, so we'll take 1 more call, Barker, then we'll call it. Do you have a caller there? If not, we're gonna call it a day.
All right, we have somebody here from the USA. Good morning.
Let's take that caller.
Good morning, Barker. It's me again. Liberian people need to learn how to tell people the truth, whether you're supporting them or not. And I don't think when Costa saying that, saying her vision, it means that he's not supporting Joe Barker or whatever. And people get so intimidated, or they get a panic attack when he's speaking these things, and then they want to question his support to Joe Barker. I don't think that's fair. Like you said before, he's a political commentator. Let him do his show. Everybody knows Costa support Joe Barker. There's no question there. So I don't know why people be having some kind of panic. And I think it's an awakening for the Liberian voters because they just vote because somebody can give you $20 today. That $20 will not last you that 6 years. That person there for your child's future, your future, or whatever. You should vote. Listen to the person's vision. Listen to what the kind of ideas the person have for your country, and look at the person's track record. They never did that with Jawia. Jawia been in the Senate for 12 years. They never saw one bill that he ever put out for them, speaking for them. They never seen that. They never saw any advocacy. Every black influence that came in that Senate for the past 12 years, Jawia took it. They never saw Jawia coming out speaking against it. They look at that, but no. They were blind to all of that. It was all about his popularity, his football this, his football that. And it's about time that Liberian people change from that because they put it, I sometimes can wish everybody that voted for Jawia were the only people in the country to feel what is going on. And the people that had sense out of there. But unfortunately, it can't happen like that. So if this is not a lesson learned, so to vote from knowing the person back to do some background check, or the person will represent or the person was so how did they say no or what did they do? Or those are the kind of things you look at before you put somebody in a higher position. And I think what Costa is doing by saying these things, it might probably open some people's mind. Maybe they didn't know, especially our Liberian people, they don't know. Oh, I like the person. Oh, the person bring me money. Oh, I will vote for the person because they bring me back of rice. It's about time. 2021, 2022, it's about time to get out of that.
All right.
That's what I was saying.
And Baga, hold on. Let me just speak to what this very intelligent young lady spoke to. And I'm sorry I don't have her name. She's right. We have to look at the person's track record. What does a country need more than anything else right now, Baga? If you're voting for in the next election, Baga, let me ask you a question. There are issues why people should vote. Reasons, qualities in the candidates. The candidate you're going to be considering, you don't have to call their name. What's the number one thing you're going to be looking for in that candidate? The number one thing you're going to be looking for in that person, Morgan. What do you think the country needs the most in the next in the next leadership? Let me ask, not just you, but all of our people watching and listening. What do you want in the number one priority for you of all the things you want in the next president of the country? What do you want the most?
Love for country.
Love of country. Fine. That's very important. What do you want the most in the next leader of the country? Our people are saying, somebody says the integrity. Two persons have already said, three persons have said integrity. Frederick Davis, Justina Gibson, in integrity. That's what he's saying, integrity. Like I said, love of country. It's not far. They are close. John Sabo says corruption free. That's the same integrity. John Sabo, my dear brother.
Honesty.
Gertrude says honesty is the same integrity. That's it. Maston Boyd says integrity. That's the same integrity. Nelly Salif Savage says character is the same integrity. You know, Amos K. says integrity. And you see, so this is what they want. And you know why they want integrity more than anything else? Because, Boakai, when you have a leader who possesses integrity, you have a better chance of a good government. Boakai. Integrity over even love of country, Boakai. Love of country is important, but integrity is to me comes first. Because, Boakai, you may love the country, but you may not have integrity, Boakai. You may love the country, you know. Even, do you think Jovia does not love Liberia?
He do.
But he does not have integrity. That's why he's such a bad leader. So you may love your country, Boakai, but you may not have integrity. You have to understand that. The willpower to prosecute their own people caught in shady stuff. My own dear brother Dominic J. Musa says, the willpower, that's integrity. Integrity. It's important. We all love Liberia. The biggest rogues, you think Ellen doesn't love Liberia? But she's a terrible, wicked woman. So you may love somebody and treat them badly. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know people can love their children and treat them badly. You know that?
Sure.
Yes. So integrity is extremely important. And what has Joe Walker demonstrated over the years in public service? Integrity. So it is important. It is extremely important that the next leader should have integrity. When you respect, when you have integrity, Walker, as my brother Arthur B. Collins says, you will respect the rule of laws. The rule of law, I'm sorry. You will respect the rule of law. If you have integrity, you will respect the rule of law. If you have integrity, you will not tolerate corruption. If you have integrity, you will not violate the Constitution. If you have integrity, you will do what's right by the people. Integrity is extremely important. Extremely important. So that's why some of us are supporting Joe Walker. Nobody finds 100% what they want in the woman they marry or the man they marry. You understand me, Walker? Mm-hmm. The woman you end up marrying or the man you end up being with, you will never find all the qualities you desire in a spouse or a life partner in that person. So you will never find all the qualities you want in one leader. Never. Never. So I know what I expect of Joe Walker. I have my expectations of him. But to sit down there and say that he must measure up 100% to all my expectations, or that he is everything that I want in the next leader, no, he is not everything that I want in the next leader. And some of you don't like to hear me say that, then you think, oh, then, Costa, you're confusing us. I am not a sycophant. And I've told Joe Walker this many times. I do not support him because I like him. I don't care about that. I support him for the